Shalyasnimam. Today is a very auspicious day, Appearance Day of Srila Gopal Bhatta Gosvami and Disappearance Day of Ramachandra Kaviraj. They are both personal associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our Gurudev wrote their biography. I will read from there. Shri Ramachandra Kaviraj. Svardhunya stira bhumau sarajani nagare gaura bhupadi patrat brahmanyad vishnu bhaktat api supari chitat Shri Chiranjeev Senat. Yah Shri Ramendu Nama Samajani Parama Shri Sunanda Bhidhayam Soyam Shriman Narake Sahi Kavinripati Samyak Asita Bhinna. This is from Bhakti Ratnakar from Sangita Madhava Natak, one drama. Ramachandra, a great devotee with an attractive form, was born in the town of Sarajani on the banks of the Ganges as the son of Sunanda and Chiranjeev Sen, a well-known minister of the king of Gaura, a devotee of the Brahmanas and Vishnu. Ramachandra was not in any way different from Narottam Das Thakur, the king amongst the poets. Chiranjeev Sen was a resident of Shrikanda. His wife's name was Sunanda. They had two virtuous sons. The elder was Ramachandra, the younger Govinda. Ramachandra was a disciple of Srinivasacharya and received the title Kaviraj. His Siddha name was Karuna Manjari. This is from Gauriya Vaishnava Vidhan. Ramachandra Kaviraj was born in Vaidya family, that is Ayurvedic doctors. After the death of his father, he went to live in Kumarnagar with his maternal grandfather Damodar Kaviraj, who was a disciple of Narahari Sarkar. Later he went to live with his younger brother Govinda Kaviraj in the village of Telia Budari in the Murshidabad district. This place has the distinction of being his Shripad, that is home. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur, however, mentioned that Ramachandra Kaviraj Shripad is in Kumar Nagar. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur has written that Ramachandra Kaviraj was a lifelong renunciate and never married. Haridas Das, on the other hand, writes in his Gauriya Vaishnava Vidhan that Ramachandra did get married but never lived with his wife. Srinivasacharya saw Ramachandra as a groom and said a few words to him about the temporary nature of material life, thus awakening within him an indifference to worldly life, such that he never took up the duties of householder life. This story has been taken from a book which is not accepted as authoritative by everyone. The following quote is taken from there. So though it may not be authoritative, but the point is good. That is why Gurudev quoted. We can get wisdom from any place, but it must be wisdom. So, at the time of marriage of Ramachandra, Srinivasacharya saw him and he said, "Just look at how much enthusiasm everyone has for this wedding. They are spending so much money, and for what? Just to purchase illusion and quarrel." they just to purchase illusion and quarrel. They don't know that Maya has placed a noose around their neck, and so they take great interest in the auspicious invocatory rituals. People celebrate weddings thinking that they are auspicious when they are not, and that they have been fulfilled when they have not. This worldly marriage is only this illusion. It is temporary and it brings quarrel because karma is there. So when karma is not fulfilled according to expectation, then there is quarrel. And it is temporary because according to karma, it will last for some time, then it will finish. Either with the death of one or already before. So in Shastra, only that type of marriage is allowed, which is dharmic marriage, where husband and wife, they will assist each other in following dharma, either varnashram dharma or devotional dharma, but it must be. Otherwise, if it is only for sense gratification, then this you only purchase illusion and quarrel. Srinivas Acharya was so overcome with affection for Ramachandra that he gave him the Diksha mantra and engaged him as his personal servant. He had unparalleled devotion to his guru and would follow his guru's words without any kind of reservation. Because fully surrendered, then you are benefited. If without reservation you serve Guru, then you are benefited. Like someone wants to cheat a blacksmith by bringing him some impure or cheap steel, but he does not realize that blacksmith will make a tool for him. So he's ultimately cheating himself only. Like that, if we have reservations in serving Guru, then we are cheating ourselves. We are the losers. If we keep something for our own enjoyment, we think we are gainers, but we are actually losers. But Ramachandra was fully surrendered. Though Bir Hambir became Srinivasacharya's disciple, Ramachandra Kaviraj acted as his Shiksha Guru. You know that king stole the books. Then later Srinivasacharya made him disciple and he got those books back. And though that king and this Ramachandra Kaviraj, they were god brothers, but Ramachandra was fully surrendered to his guru, so he became non-different from guru, getting all the devotional power, everything. So it was possible for him to act as Shiksha Guru, though god brother, to that king. Gurudev told in Harikatha that sometimes the son of a teacher is so qualified that he can also teach the others. So it is not impossible. Ramachandra Kaviraj also visited Vrindavan, where he associated with Jiva Goswami and the other Vaishnavas, receiving their blessings. They were very pleased to hear his poetry, so much so that Jiva Goswami gave him the Kaviraj title. Like he gave title Acharya to Srinivas, Thakur to Narottam, and Shamananda to Dukhi Krishnadas. He gave this title, Kaviraj, King of Poets. He was thus one of the 8 Kavirajas, Ashta Kaviraj. He was Narottam Thakur's favorite companion for preaching activities and spiritual association. Paramananda Bhattacharya, an ocean of love, Jiva Goswami, and the other residents of Braja listened to Ramachandra recite his own poetic compositions, and they joyfully awarded him the title Kaviraj. Ramachandra Kaviraj is full of all virtues and is Narottam Das's second self. This is from Bhakti Ratnakar. Kangsari Sen, Ram Sen, Ramchandra Kaviraj, and the three Kavirajas, Govinda, Shri Ranga, and Mukunda, are Nityananda Prabhu's branches. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ramachandra wrote several books including Smaran Chamatkar, Smaran Darpan, Siddhanta Chandrika, and Srinivas Acharya Jivan Charit. Narahari Chakravarti has written an extensive description of Ramachandra and his visit to Vrindavan in the 9th wave of his Bhakti Ratnakar. Everyone would get attracted by his unblemished, divinely effulgent form. When Ramachandra visited the Radha Damodar temple with Jiva Goswami and saw the deities and Rupa Goswami's Samadhi, he experienced ecstatic transformations that were a source of amazement to all. Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Lokanath Goswami, and Bhugarbha Goswami gave him their blessings. He went to bath in Radhakund and Shamakund and met Raghunath Das Goswami there. When he paid obeisances to Das Goswami, the venerable saint affectionately embraced him and felt ecstasy. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has prayed for the association of Ramachandra Kaviraj in his prarthana. Doya Karo Shri Acharjo Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamage Narottam Das. Please be merciful, Srinivas Acharya Prabhu. Narottam Das begs for Ramachandra's association. When our Gurudev would start Nagar Sankirtan or Parikrama, then he would always sing this song, praying for the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya Prabhu, and other associates, Srivas, Gadadhar, and then Goswamis. Then this line comes, Doya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas. And then also praying for the grace of Prabhupada and Gurudev, his Gurudev, and then Jai Dao, praying for the grace of all Guru Parampara and Panchatattva, and then going Nagar Sankirtan or Parikrama, Vrindavan or Mayapur. Yo Shashvat Bhagavat Parayana Puro Sangsara Parayano Samyak Satata Tantravada Paramo Nikshesha Siddhantago Shashvat Bhakti Rasa Pradana Rasiko Pashanda Hrin Mandalo Anyonya Priyata Bharena Jugalibuto Imo To Numa. This is from, again, Sangita Madhava Nataka, quoted in Bhakti Ratnakar. I pay my obeisances to Narottam and Ramachandra Prabhus, who are always fond of dedication towards devotion to the Supreme Lord, who help people to cross over the ocean of material life, who know all the scriptures completely and have understood all the transcendental doctrines, who are the most generous with the distribution of bhakti, rasa, who won the hearts of the atheists, and who are constantly attached to each other's affectionate company. Ramachandra Kaviraj's disappearance day is the Krishna Tritiya in the month of Magh. He disappeared in Vrindavan after the disappearance of Srinivas Acharya. Here another also meaning, Yo Shashvat Bhagavat Parayana. They are devoted to Bhagavat, means scripture Bhagavat, and also Bhakta Bhagavat. Always font of dedication towards devotion to the Supreme Lord. That is Bhakta Bhagavat and Grantha Bhagavat, Srimad Bhagavatam. So today is Srila Ramachandra Kaviraj's Disappearance Day. I am going down to his lotus feet and praying for his causeless mercy. Then Gopal Bhatta Goswami Gopal Bhatta Ananga Manjari Yasit Sadhya Gopala Bhattaka Bhatta Gosaminam Kechit Ahuh Shri Guna Manjarim. She who was formerly Ananga Manjari has appeared to enrich Mahaprabhu's pastimes as Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Some say that Gopal Bhatta is actually Guna Manjari. This is from Gaur Ganodesh Dipika. I think this Ananga Manjari is not the same as Ananga Manjari, who is Jannava Mata and who is Baladeva Gopi. Prabhupada said like that. Because Baladev Prabhu has some Vatsalya Rasa also towards Krishna because he's a younger brother. So he cannot directly participate in Madhurya Leela of Krishna with gopis as Baladev. That is why Baladev, he takes another form as Ananga Manjari, and she is the younger sister of Radharani, and she is assisting in Madhurya Leela. So that is another, and this is another Ananga Manjari or Guna Manjari, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, because he has also different place in Radhakunda. Jannava Mata or Ananga Manjari has one island as Kunja in the middle of Radhakunda, and there is a bridge to connect in transcendental realm. So that is Ananga Manjari Kunja, but Gopal Bhatta Goswami is under one Sakhi. So they are different. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami appeared in 1500 AD, though according to some authorities he appeared in 1503 as the son of Venkata Bhatta in the town of Srirangam in South India. Their residence was in a village not far from Srirangam called Belgundi on the banks of river Kaveri. According to Bhakti Ratnakar, Mahaprabhu gave Gopal Bhatta a dream vision through which he could witness all of his Navadip pastimes. Though Gopal Bhatta Goswami was an eternal associate of Krishna, he appeared in a faraway place in order to make a special contribution to Lord Gauranga's pastimes. Thus, even though he was living too far away to know anything about the Lord directly, he was still able to know, long before he met the Lord in person, that he, means Mahaprabhu, had appeared and taken sannyas. So sometimes in dream you can get direct darshan, that is transcendental dream, like Prabhupada got order to preach in that Swapna Samadhi. Also Narottam also got, and Madhavendra Puri, and now I had in mind 2 times. They got darshan in dream, maybe I remember. I had in mind 2 times. let it sleep. Yes, Baladev devotion. He got in dream the order from Govinda to write Vedanta Sutra commentary. 3 times he got dream and how he should write that commentary. So it is possible, but you have to be eligible. The Lord then embraced Gopal Bhatta and drenched him. No, sorry, I missed one. Gopal Bhatta did not particularly like the Lord's appearance as a sannyasi. This austere form distressed Gopal Bhatta, who was thus crying alone when the Lord appeared to him and gave him this vision of his pastimes in Navadip. He then took Gopal Bhatta on his lap and drenched him with tears. Like in Vrindavan, they don't like when Krishna leaves that Vrindavan. They are feeling separation grief. Like that, devotees in Navadip, they don't like Mahaprabhu's form as a sannyasi. He's leaving them. That is why, like Ratha Yatra is there, gopis from Kurukshetra, they want to bring Krishna to Vrindavan. They're pulling that chariot. Like that, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after taking sannyas, once he visited Navadip, but not Mayapur, there, Vidyanagar, that place. So all the devotees, they came there to meet him, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote in Navadip Bhavataranga that he was pulling, means Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, because he's personal associate of Mahaprabhu, I was pulling Mahaprabhu from that place to come to Mayapur, to Srivas Thakur's house, so that we will do kirtan together. He should give up this sannyas and should come back to Srivas Thakur's house. That is Ratha Yatra in Navadip. Bhaktivinoda Thakur revealed it. To bring Mahaprabhu back to Srivasangam. Like Dwarakadish Krishna, opulent, gopis they want to bring to Vrindavan in that cowherd form. Like that, devotees of Mahaprabhu, they want to, the Mahaprabhu should give up that sannyas, austere form, and come as a householder in Srivas Angan to do kirtan. That is Ratha Yatra. So the Lord then, after giving him this dream, the Lord then embraced Gopal Bhatta and drenched him with his tears. He then told Gopal to keep all these revelations a secret. Gopal Bhatta's mind was absorbed in a state of intense joy. This is from Bhakti Ratnakar. In 1510, Mahaprabhu made his auspicious entrance to the pilgrimage city of Srirangam, that is South India. He was invited by Venkata Bhatta, a Vaishnava of the Sri Sampradaya, to spend the 4 months of the Chaturmasya in his house, because at that time sadhus, traveling sadhus, sannyasis, they would follow this to stay only in one place during Chaturmasya, because it is rainy, it is not practical to travel, so they will remain in one place and do bhajan more in a regulated manner, because staying only in one place. So later on these houses and all these cars, this came, but the point is, during Chaturmasya, one should become more regulated in his bhajan. So this Brahmin invited Mahaprabhu, knowing him to be a strict Vaishnava, though in Ramanuja Sampradaya, that is no problem. Lakshmi Narayan, but he is not taking any garlic, onion, meat intoxication, the strict Vaishnava. That is why Mahaprabhu accepted his invitation. In fact, like our Gurudev, when he was invited to Barcelona, some religious conference, something they wanted to bring, then Guru said, but where we will stay there? I cannot stay in hotels and these things. If there is any devotee house, then that is suitable for us. He may be very poor, that is no problem. We don't require any comfort, nothing. But it must be a devotee's house. That is suitable for us. Not those touristic places and they are cooking everything and smell is coming. In fact, the Lord's pastime of coming to Srirangam and staying at Venkata Bhatta's home was to give his mercy to Gopal Bhatta and his family, for the Lord knew that Gopal Bhatta, his eternal companion, had appeared there. At this time, Gopal Bhatta was still a young boy. He was fortunate enough to be able to serve the Lord by massaging his feet. Even though he was satisfied with Venkata Bhatta and his family's service, the Lord observed that Venkata Bhatta had an element of pride in his object of worship. He believed that his worshipable deity, Lakshmi Narayan, was the supreme worshipable object, that Narayan was the source of all other avatars, including Krishna, Rama and Rishinga. His reasoning was that Narayan is never born, while Krishna and Ram take birth in the world. He thus thought Mahaprabhu worships Krishna, the avatar of Narayan, while we worship Narayan, the source of all avatars. In South India, if you go to Ramanujas, they still have such conception that Narayan is avatari, others are avatars. But according to Bhagavatam, Krishna is Ete Changshakala Krishna, Ete Changshakala Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is original. As Madhusudan, means Krishna, is the destroyer of false pride, Mahaprabhu finally decided one day that he would do so for Venkata Bhatta, that is out of compassion. He asked him in a mild, humored, witty tone, Venkata Bhatta, I hear that no one is equal in opulence to your Lord Narayan. The same is true for your worshipable goddess Lakshmi Devi. On the other hand, the object of my worship, Krishna, has no opulence of any kind. He wears garlands of wild forest flowers and uses peacock feathers for decoration. He is the son of Nanda Gopa, means cowherd boy, peasant, and spends his day grazing the cows with other cowherd boys. My worshipable goddesses, the gopis, are also nothing but poor cowherd girls. I wonder, therefore, why your worshipable Lakshmi Devi came to Vrindavan to perform austerities in the hope of gaining Krishna's company in the rasa dance. Venkata Bhatta immediately answered, what's wrong with that? Radha's beloved Krishna is not different from Lakshmi Devi's husband Narayan. Siddhantatas tvabeda pishrisha Krishna sarupayo rasanot krishyate Krishna rupam esha rasa stiti. From Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. That time there was no Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu yet. But we see he said this verse. There are two explanations. One is that Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is eternal like Bhagavatam. So it is floating. It can come to someone. another explanation is he didn't tell exactly this verse, but he told the point of this verse, that there is no difference, because also Hanuman also said, I know that Shri Nate Janakinate Abeda Chapramatmini, the Srinath Lakshmi Narayan and Janakinath means master of Sita, Ramachandra, they are one, Paramatma. But for me, everything is Ramachandra. Like that, they knew this tattva. God is only one, but according to Rasa, there is difference. Since the divine sentiment, yes, though according to theological doctrine, Krishna and the husband of Lakshmi are identical in essence, the form of Krishna is superior when analyzed from the point of view of divine sentiment. Since the divine sentiment in Krishna is superior, there is no fault if Lakshmi Devi chooses to seek his association and performs austerities to that end. Mahaprabhu answered, I am not saying that there is any fault. I agree that ontologically Krishna and Narayan are identical. The difference between them is based on the variety of rasa. When the Lord performs pastimes of opulence, he is Narayan. When he performs pastimes of sweetness, he is Krishna. She who is Radha in Krishna's pastimes is Lakshmi Devi in the pastimes of Narayan. Thus, when Lakshmi Devi performs austerities to have the association of Krishna, there is no question of her breaking her vows of fidelity to her husband. She does not become unchaste because they are same person. So it is not she's going to some other man. No. So there is nothing wrong. Thus she went to perform these austerities in Vrindavan. But I have another question for you. Actually, this was not Mahaprabhu's question. But Venkata Bhatta answered that there is no fault because they are same person. So no question of infidelity or unchastity. But I have another question for you. Why, even after trying so hard through such penances, etc., to enter Krishna's Rasa Lila, was Lakshmi Devi still unable to do so? Venkata Bhatta was terribly distressed at being unable to give the Lord an answer. Mahaprabhu observed his distress and tried to pacify him by saying, You yourself said that Narayan and Krishna are identical ontologically, but that the superiority of Krishna is due to the excellence in rasas. Narayan is involved in 2.5 of the 5 principal rasas, whereas in Krishna there is a complete manifestation of all 12 rasas, the 5 principal and 7 secondary sentiments. Since Narayan's pastime is primarily one of opulence and majesty, his principal devotee is Lakshmi Devi, who also worships him in the appropriate mood of awe and reverence. The same Lakshmi Devi is Radhika in order to heighten the experience of conjugal love. Unless one follows in the footsteps of Radha and her expansions, the gopis, who are the repositories of the transcendental divine love, it is impossible to relish Krishna's sweet qualities. Lakshmi Devi, however, did not follow in the gopis' footsteps, but continued to perform her austerities in the mood of awe and reverence, because that is her natural bhav. It cannot be changed. So in order to give us teaching, this lila was made. As a result, she repeatedly found herself in the company of Narayan and never in that of Krishna, because according to the mood of devotee, that is how Krishna will appear. By way of contrast, the Shrutis, that is Upanishads, followed the gopis in the Raga mark and so were ultimately able to achieve Krishna's service in that mood. As long as one continues to think of Krishna in majestic terms as Lord and controller, one cannot possibly worship in the spirit of Raganuga Bhakti. Mahaprabhu said, Krishna has one extraordinary characteristic. By his sweetness, he attracts the minds of the entire world. By taking on the mood of the Braja Gopis, one can attain to his lotus feet. The people of Braja have no idea that Krishna is the Lord and controller. Some think of him as their son and even tie him to a mortar, while others take him to be their friend and climb on his shoulders. The people of Braja only know him as the son of Nanda, whereas in the attitude of awe and reverence, the devotee does not have a concept of such a relationship with him. One who takes the attitude of a resident of Braja will attain Krishna as the son of the king of Braja in Vrindavan. So that mood you have to imbibe from Brajavasis. When you have that mood, then you can get contact with Krishna. When the gopis, the objects of my worship, were abandoned by Krishna in the rasa dance, they began to cry in the intensity of their distress at not seeing him. Krishna came to them in the form of Narayan, but the gopis simply paid their obeisances and moved on in search of Krishna, showing absolutely no interest in him as a lover. When Radharani stood before the disguised Krishna, however, he could not maintain the four-armed form, but once again appeared in his form as the holder of the flute. Such is the power of Radharani's love. This is in Paitagram, near Govardhan. We go there during Parikrama. So because of power of Radharani's love, Krishna could not maintain. She is always controlling Krishna. He changed from Narayan again to Krishna. Nandanandan Krishna is the avatari, or source of all avatars. Narayan, Ram, Nrishinga, etc. are all his avatars and expansions. Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only the Personality of Godhead, the source of all other divinities, is eligible to be designated Swayam Bhagavan, or the primeval Lord. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ete Changcha Kalah Pungshah Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Byakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuga Yuga. All of the previously mentioned forms of the Lord are either plenary expansions or partial expansions of plenary expansions, but Krishna alone is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear in every age to protect the saints whenever the enemies of the gods disturb them, means demons. This is from Bhagavatam. Then, through the power of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's merciful association, Venkata Bhatta, his brother Prabodhananda Saraswati, he was sannyasi. His son Gopal Bhatta Gosvami and all the other members of his family were inspired to give up the worship of Lakshmi Narayan and became engaged in the exclusive devotional service of Radha and Krishna. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami took initiation from his uncle Tridandi Jati, that is sannyasi, Srimad Prabodhananda Saraswati. Proof of this is found in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. Bhakter Vilasam Shchinute Prabodhanandasya Shishyo Bhagavat Priyasya Gopala Bhatto Raghunatha Dasam Santoshayan Rupa Sanatano Cha. I, Gopal Bhatta, the disciple of Prabodhananda Saraswati, who is dear to the Lord, have compiled these most essential and glorious devotional doctrines to satisfy Raghunath Das Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and Sanatan Goswami. It's from Hari Bhakti Vilas. Gopal Bhatta's parents were very fortunate, for they surrendered themselves, life and soul, to the feet of Lord Chaitanya. They ordered their son to go to Vrindavan before they left this world, absorbed in meditating on the Lord. Gopal Bhatta Goswami traveled directly to Vrindavan, where he met with Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. Like you know, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was ordered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you go home now. Your parents are devotees, they are still living. After they will leave this world, then you come to Vrindavan. And he did so. But Gopal Bhatta Goswami immediately got permission, you go. Because they were devotees of Mahaprabhu, and such was Lila. When Gopal Bhatta Goswami arrived in Vrindavan, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami wrote to Mahaprabhu to tell him. The Lord was overjoyed and immediately wrote back telling them to affectionately take care of him as though he were their own younger brother. Srila Sanatan Goswami compiled the Hari Bhakti Vilas and published it in Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami's name. Rupa Goswami considered Gopal Bhatta to be as dear to him as his own life and engaged him in the worship of Radharaman deity. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami became one of the 6 Goswamis, but he always kept an attitude of meekness and humility. Thus, when Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami approached him for permission to write Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he granted it, but under the condition that he not write about him. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami could not go against the order of Gopal Bhatta and thus did nothing more than mention his name. Sri Jiva Goswami writes in the introduction to the Satsandarbha that he wrote it on the basis of an earlier text by Gopal Bhatta. He made some notes before. Then Jiva Goswami expanded and systematized all this. He wrote there. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami also wrote a book called the Satkriya Sar Deepika, Light on the Essential Sacraments for the Vaishnavas, about marriage, Diksha, first grain giving, Shraddha ceremony for Vaishnavas, not including demigod worship, but worship of Radha Krishna in the Yagya. And thus his contribution to Gauriya Vaishnava literature was in editing the Hari Bhakti Vilas, preparing the notes for Jiva Goswami Satsandarbha, and in compiling the Satkriya Sar Deepika. He also gave great joy to the community of devotees by writing a commentary on Birla Mangal Thakur's Krishna Karnamrita. Amongst his disciples were Srinivas Acharya and Sri Gopinath Pujari. Here I will not read because time is running out. Once Gopal Bhatta Goswami went to visit the town of Saharanpur, not far from Haridwar. There, one Brahmin was serving him without any pretense. Sincerely, he was serving him, and he had no children but desired to have a son. So Gopal Bhatta knew his desire and blessed him that he would have a devotionally minded male child. Then that Brahman promised Gopal Bhatta that he would give him his first son to be his servant and disciple. This son was Gopinath Pujari. And from this Gopinath Pujari, then family lineage is coming, who are now taking care of Radharaman temple in Vrindavan. It is said that Mahaprabhu had such affection for Gopal Bhatta that he sent him his own belt and coping, as well as a wooden seat which he had used. These items are still worshipped in the Radharaman temple by the current sevaks. Then once also Gopal Bhatta Goswami went to that Nepal, Gandaki river, and he brought Shalagram Shilas and would worship as Krishna himself. Now, here it is mentioned only one. I also heard that he had many, but anyhow, Gurudev wrote here one. And one day he thought that if his Shalagram Shila were a deity, he could dress and decorate the Lord beautifully. On the very next day, he found that the Shalagram Shila had transformed into the Sri Radharaman deity to fulfill the wish of his devotee. This deity stands alone without any form of Radha standing by his side. Instead, as a symbol of Radharani, a silver crown is placed on his left side. And another version is that Gopal Bhatta Goswami, yes, here it is mentioned that he used to worship 12 shalagramas and he had desire to serve in the form of deity, and one merchant gave him many clothes and decorations, everything for the service of deity. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami was thinking, then how, if I would have deity, then I could use all these items for the service of deity. Like in this way he was thinking. The next day, one of those 12 shalagramas transformed to Radharaman deity. Then, when Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, they heard that Krishna had so mercifully appeared to Gopal Bhatta, they immediately came with the other devotees for darshan, and when they saw him, they were ecstatic with love. The annual festival commemorating Radharaman's appearance, when he is bathed publicly, takes place on the full moon day of Vaishak. The Radharaman temple is considered one of the most important in Vrindavan. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami ended his earthly pastimes on the Krishna Panchami of Ashar in 1586. His Samadhi temple is behind the current Radharaman temple. By reading Srinivasa Acharya's hymn to the 6 Goswamis, Shara Goswami Ashtakam, we can understand their glories. Our Gurudev used to recite that verse, Shankya Purva Kanama Gana Nativi Kalavasani Krito, Nidra Hara Vihara Kadi Vijito, Chatanta Dino Chajo, Radha Krishna Gunosmrite Madhuri Manandena Samohito, Bande Rupa Sanatana Ragujugo, Sri Jiva Gopalako. They were doing in a regulated manner, bhajan, fixed number of chanting, fixed number of dandavats, fixed songs every day, Guru Bandhana, Vaishnava Bandhana, like we are doing in the mat. And whole time they were doing bhajan, and they conquered eating and sleeping, and they were enchanted by remembering the qualities of Radha Krishna Gunosmriter Madhuri Manandena Samohito. They were blissful. So in this way they were doing bhajan. There is no necessary for them to do bhajan, but they were showing by example how sadhakas should do bhajan. They are already manjaris. For them there is no need, but they are showing for us. The need is for us If we want to attain that prema, then we have to practice as they did. So today is Gopal Bhatta Goswami's appearance day. I'm bowing down to his lotus feet and praying for his causeless mercy. If Krishna wills, I will go tomorrow to Vienna, Radha Govinda Gauriya Math, because Shraman Maharaj came, and they will also have Vyasa Puja of Srila Bhaktivedanta Puri Gosai Maharaj. Then he's coming here to Slovenia, and then also to Croatia. So there will be no Skype programs until I think Saturday. If I will not go to Pula, then we will continue on Saturday. Otherwise, next Monday. I will let you know in the chat.